The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Oh, dear sweet summer child, Jesse Starcher. It is me, Mr. Mark Radulich, your mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified. And tonight is another episode of one of my favorite podcasts that I still do, one that doesn't bore me to tears. Sessions, baby. It's like colors, but sessions.
Colors. Sessions.
What's up?
Oh my goodness, Mark Radulich, I'm good to be back here.
I'm gonna start calling you
glad.
Tupac. I'm gonna start calling you Tupac Starcher.
Wow. I do not have the flow of no Tupac, that's for sure.
Oh boy. So, what's new in the world of artificial intelligence, Jesse?
Oh my goodness. I mean, if there isn't some new type of technology or some kind of crazy thing hitting at least every other day, I think we could definitely say things are moving forward. My goodness, I can't remember. Did I talk to you about Refusion last time? Fusion.
What? Riff Fusion?
Yes, it's a new SUNO analog. Right now, it's free. It's in beta.
Okay.
I thought about playing with it, but we'll stick with SUNO for right now. But it's gaining some traction out there. Apparently, it's going to give SUNO a run for its money.
Really? What's the big deal about it?
A lot of times, what you want is some good quality like sound. You want something that doesn't sound AI. I mean, that's mostly what you're putting all this work in for. So that somebody could go, oh, is that an actual song? Is that somebody that, you want to be able to trick people into thinking that.
Can I tell you, I've listened back to the last 6 episodes of Sessions, the songs that we created. Like, I put all this stuff up on TikTok, and I will annoy people by, or I'll just like I'll go to the playlist and I'll listen to the entire album, like what we have so far in succession. And right. I have to say, like, most of the vocals you can absolutely tell is fake.
Okay.
Like there's something about you said something about a shimmer in a previous episode.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's the shimmer, but there is definitely something going on with the lyrics where it sounds overproduced is what it does. Is what it sounds like. You could convince somebody that it's real, but it sounds like somebody used some sort of production technique to make it sound a little less gritty, a little less real than human vocals typically sound.
Right. Yeah. A lot of what Refusion is known for, I think right now, is that the vocals sound a little bit better than SUNO. However, the way that SUNO puts music together is kind of unmatched. They may get there at some point with Refusion, and that's why right now, if you create a Refusion account, it's all completely free. Granted, they may give you some limits, but they are doing similar to what SUNO did initially, which is give everybody access, let them go to town. The more people create, the more stuff it's generating, the more it learns.
Right.
So Refusion is kind of like the same way. Now, at some point, most likely they'll lock it down. There'll be some type of a pay similar to like SUNO, I'm sure. But yeah, from my understanding, it's fairly good, fairly decent. I have learned here over the past month some of the stuff we may have had access to, but I had not had a chance to get in and mess with, where we can go in and crop our song and things like that. They now offer fade outs. So you can fade songs out, which is kind of nice. I've remastered a few of my own songs and made them sound really good because I've added a fade out to it or something.
Okay.
So
anything from Time to Eat?
I don't think I had remastered anything from there, as from what I can remember.
I have a question,
okay.
Jesse. Sir Jesse of Starcher.
That's me.
When are we getting Time to Eat 2? Or Time to Eat?
Time to eat.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I have a few like throwaway songs that I've been messing around with, but they were nothing that of the production quality or lyrical quality of Time to Eat. Like I had let's see, the song I had a few days ago was just the lyrics were very simple. It was eat them muffins, yes indeed.
So here's what you need to do. All of your throwaway tracks need to go on an EP.
Okay.
Called Time to Eat What We Threw in the Garbage.
I love it.
Yes.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
And make like an AI art of like a raccoon digging in the trash.
Okay. All right.
That's what needs to happen.
I like it. I like it. I also talked about, I think I mentioned to you about how you could take sounds, this has been around since I think last year.
Did you ever find our supercut of us doing the?
No, I looked too. I looked for probably about a good half hour, and I was like, "Crap, I'm gonna bow out and can stop trying to do this."
I'll go back through some of the podcasts I listened to because I know we use that sound effect a fucking lot. So if I can find the podcast that we use that on, I'll just send you the link.
Okay. Did I throw it in? Was it in a gag reel?
Yeah, it's like an entire gag reel at one point, but we used to just use that as a sound. Like we would just play it on like random podcasts because it was so funny. Right.
And I wanted to take that and make it. I'd love to make it something because Suno, you would be surprised. Mm-hmm. You'd be very surprised at what noises you could use and create songs with.
You need to go back when we're done here. Go listen to Ant-Man's Second Chance Man. And just the gag reel for that podcast, because that's where we did the Hit It Darren thing.
That's the Darren, right?
Yeah, but Ronnie's reaction to Hit It Darren is so goddamn funny. And you could definitely make some hay with his, like, no!
Yes.
Like, we said Hit It Darren, and he was, like, deathly afraid a large gay man was going to kick open his door and start dancing with him.
Disco ball drops.
Yeah.
And the glow sticks hit.
Like, we said Hit It Darren, and he was like, oh, God, not me. He's reacting to. Do you know Darren?
Oh, man.
All right.
Good stuff.
Tonight, Jesse, way back in the day, not as far back as you think, but way enough back, we did a review, and we is myself, Robert Winfrey, who was in a mood that night, Alexis Hannah, Andrew Graham, and then joining late was David Wright. And we reviewed back in our audio-only days, though we would soon thereafter go to video, not too long after this, as a matter of fact, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And back then, we were still doing episode by episode. And there's a point... Now, the whole premise of the show was that they're playing off the John Walker as Captain America run before he becomes U.S. agent. So in the comic books, John Walker was a really brutal Captain America. Like, for whatever reasons, I think Captain America, had died or had lost the super soldier serum. Like, I don't remember. I know there was a series where Captain America got caught in a meth lab explosion. And it was ice. And then they had, because the meth was bound with his super soldier serum, they had to take it out of him. So there was a run of Captain America where he didn't have the super soldier serum anymore.
I don't know if I'd have to look this up, but the first thing that's coming to mind is Streets of Poison. I don't know if that's it or not, but
that's the one. Okay. But I think prior to that, there was another reason why they had to take Captain America off the streets. and they gave the mantle of Captain America to John Walker. And John Walker was a really violent, brutal Captain America. And eventually, Captain America had to take back the mantle, and John Walker became U.S. agent. So they took that story-ish, and they combined it with the all-new, all-different Marvel iteration of Captain America, where Sam Wilson was the new modern Captain America. And that was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was a story about how after Endgame, where Old Man Rogers gives the shield to Sam, what does Sam do with that shield now? And at first he's like, I don't really want to be Captain America. I don't feel like this is appropriate for me. So he actually gives the shield to the Smithsonian. The government takes it from the Smithsonian to John Walker, and they say, you're the new Captain America, and the story goes from there. What we were talking about in the review, and I went back and I listened to it, it's about 10 minutes, but amongst our group of friends, they thought that bit was longer than it was. The reason why that podcast is as long as it's almost 3 hours. One, because it's me, Robert, Alexis, Andrew, David. There's 5 of us, which is one more than there should have been, and 2 more than I would have liked. So allowing 5 people to comment on, I think it was like 6 or 7 episodes a piece every single episode, that by itself, assuming nobody is verbose, is already going to make it long.
Right, dude. You've got to figure out a way to structure that thing before it eat.
Yeah.
If you want to get out within an hour and a half.
Yeah, or it turns into the bleeding edge. So tell Jeff I said hi, by the way.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we had other problems with that show, not the least of which was David came on late, so we kind of had to restart the podcast when he came on. So we had already covered a bunch of stuff. The real thing that took forever was there's a bit in Falcon and the Winter Soldier where John Walker kills a guy with his shield that had given up the fight. And Robert and I got into a knockdown, drag-out debate over whether or not John Walker should have killed him. It's not worth repeating, but it's just one of those where, like, listening back to it, Robert could not talk him off the ledge on that one. And I'm like, you're advocating for murder. And I don't know what to do at this point. I couldn't stop him. And like we just kept arguing, and it went forever. But the thing that no one remembers that, because that's later on in the podcast. What everyone remembers is within the first 20 minutes or so of the show, Andrew brings up an article that he had read about a lawyer who argued chain of custody of the shield, and it was like, and he kind of flippantly says, "Oh, Sam could have sued the federal government for what they did with the shield because they didn't have a right to take it from the Smithsonian." And I argued that point. I was like, I don't know if this what they did with the shield is right.
Right.
And for a good solid 10 minutes, myself, Andrew, and Robert batted this around. I've since cut the clip out, and I posted it on TikTok and on YouTube, and I added pictures, whatever. And it's an entertaining bit, but it has taken on legend.
Oh, yes, it has.
Amongst us. We refer back to it as like anytime a podcast goes off the rails and goes too long, and we go into way nerdy territory. We bring up someone just goes Captain America's shield, and we go, oh, okay, we'll move this on.
Yeah.
But because this is about the moments, Jesse.
The moments.
That is a moment in Radulich and broadcast recent history where I was like, we have to make a song about this.
Oh yeah. So your feelings on this, you were reminded of Bob Dylan.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So when I hear, let's talk about the chain of custody of Captain America's shield, I think, because everything kind of like triggers a music memory for me.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like half of this podcast is my music triggers.
Yep.
So when I hear, let's talk about the chain of custody of Captain America's shield, I hear, let's hear the story of the hurricane.
Hear the story of the hurricane.
The authorities, the man the authorities came to blame. So, What is Hurricane? We don't need to know who Bob Dylan is. There was just a movie about him. It won some Oscars. It did not win Best Picture. But Bob Dylan wrote a protest song called Hurricane, which was co-written with Jacques Levy and released as a single in 1975. It was included on Bob Dylan's 1976 album Desire as its opening track. The song is about the imprisonment of boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter. It describes acts of racism and profiling against Carter, which led to a flawed trial and a murder conviction that was eventually overturned. So one of the things I like about the song, Jesse, is the kind of almost spoken word nature of it. Like there's definitely some chorus in there, some repetition, but mostly it's just this folk song telling the story of what happened to Reuben Hurricane Carter.
Right.
And I thought, what better way to turn the chain of custody of Captain America's shield and the nerdiness of that entire conversation into a song that is a story that is also a song.
All right. So I need to ask then. So what did you use? Did you use Notebook LM to help you out here, or because you got some lyrics?
So the whole reason why I cut the clip out, because I had gone back and listened to the review a little ways back to remind myself. Also, like I said, everyone thinks this bit's longer than it really is. The conversation in the podcast lasted 10 minutes.
Right.
The argument over John Walker killing a guy was much longer.
Yep.
So,
yep.
My favorite thing about that entire podcast was like Alexis almost like quit doing shows with us. It was great. By the end of it, she was like, "I hate you all. Get me off of this show." Like, no one's keeping you here. Go away. Anyway, so I cut the clip out of the show. I downloaded it from Spreaker. No, from Spreaker. I cut that portion out, and then I downloaded a whole bunch of pictures from Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Civil War, because we went fucking back, man. We at one point we were talking about this. I think it's Andrew who makes the point that the shield went down with Captain America into the ice, at which point the government would consider it a lost weapon, and that it now belongs to Steve Rogers as he salvaged it when they pulled him out of the ice. That's how nerdy this conversation got.
No, that is good. That is good stuff right there.
There's also the issue of how many shields are there, because there's the shield that he drops in Civil War that Tony Stark reclaims.
Oh,
but then he says in Endgame, "I made another one for you. Don't tell everyone I didn't bring enough for everybody." But the indication is that he made a new shield.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? In any case, it's presumed it's the one shield, but there's an argument to be made that there are multiple shields floating around.
Mm-hmm.
However, the question you asked me was, what did I do? So I added a whole bunch of pictures from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Endgame, Captain America: First Avenger, Civil War, and I edited together, all Critical Drinker style, a video to go along with the audio.
Did you? Wow.
Posted it on TikTok, posted it on YouTube. Once I had it on YouTube, I could throw it into Notebook LM.
Yeah.
Once I had it in Notebook LM, I could get a transcript.
Right.
I took that transcript, I threw it into ChatGPT.
Okay.
And I said, and I have the prompt up here, "Here's what I want, ChatGPT. Fancy. Here's what I want.
Fancy.
Fancy. Here's what I want. I want a song about the chain of custody of the shield with a note about how nerdy this podcast conversation was."
Nice.
The song inspiration is Hurricane by Bob Dylan. Start with "Here Comes the Story of Captain America's Shield." And ChatGPT said, "Here's your Bob Dylan-inspired folk ballad about the chain of custody of Captain America's shield, you fuck." No, didn't say that. Structured like Hurricane, complete with historical style storytelling, social commentary, and a nod to how nerdy the whole conversation was.
Oh, good. SUNO can do some pretty good folk music.
Yeah,
I've heard it.
Listen, all the little single that we threw together of me blowing up a Dunkin' Donuts bathroom of multiple song-related versions of that story, the folk ones are good. The folk ones are quality, man.
Yeah, they do good. So I'm really, I think we'll get a pretty good product out of this. We just got to make sure it sounds the way we want it to, and go from there. So,
do you have any questions about this whole, the whole inspiration here before we get into?
No, just like you said, it lived in infamy.
Yeah.
It is something that in our chat, once it's brought up, we all know what we're talking about, and we're bringing it up usually to jab at somebody or do whatever because we like to poke fun at ourselves. And I have had conversations on podcasts. Actually,
Don't you have an entire podcast series called "What Got Cut"?
I don't know if that would have got cut. I think it may have. We want to stick to just the story and then throw that rest of that stuff at the end. So yes. But yeah, I've had plenty of conversations with people where it's just like, the next day you're thinking, why did we even? Because we didn't solve anything. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're not solving anything, but the conversation was had for everybody to hear.
It's debatable whether or not it even adds to the review. Because whether or not we determined through our court of Radulich that the government didn't have any right to take the shield from the Smithsonian and give it to John Walker, fucking difference does it? What do we go
it
back
doesn't
and
make a difference.
Rewrite the show?
Does not make a difference.
But
that's okay. That's the fun of this.
We're arguing about this in a world with gods and monsters. Like,
right.
We have to deal with wizards and gods and a gauntlet made from magic stones that are half the population. But where we drew a line was the legality over the government taking ownership of the shield and giving it to another person, because it's a weapon.
Discussing the legality of something though is absolutely feels like a mark of the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. It feels like something we definitely would do.
We are definitely a group of angry almost lawyers.
Almost.
We have social workers and we have internet columnists and jewelry makers and people with business degrees and people who work on oil platforms and such. Yet I think we all should have been lawyers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what a society we would have created.
The law firm of Radulich, Winfrey, and Starcher.
Oh man. Oh man. But yeah, I cannot wait to get into making this thing.
Let's get into making it, man. Let's get in the kitchen, put our aprons on, and make ourselves a music pie.
Sounds like a plan. All right, let me hop into my workspace. I'll share my screen here, which, by the way, I don't think I showed this last time. Maybe I did. I don't know. But when recently I think I just did the entire screen. Yeah, there we go. Do that and do that. So Suno has workspaces now. I can't remember if I talked about this or not. But workspaces are just kind of a way to keep track of all of your okay, hey, I'm working on this album over here. And it used to be, it was just you'd have 60 pages of the same songs and stuff.
Right. But as you clean up, what the fuck is fart songs?
Well, that's not for here nor there today. We should probably move on. We should create a song, Mark Radulich.
Oh, okay.
We'll go in here. Let's just see what fun titles we have here. Only have 4. Oh yes, yeah. There you go.
The fart was too loud and smelly. That seems a little on the nose, Jesse. It lacks in subtlety. Sir.
I know it. But yeah, mostly where you're going to generate your stuff, it's all going to be in my workspace, and then you can send stuff to other workspaces if you need to. So it's just kind of like a folder system, which is kind of nice. But as you see, I don't have anything in our workspace here. Already threw our lyrics in over here. So what we've got to do now is we've got to figure out what the genre is going to be.
Well, before we do this, we got to go through these lyrics because I don't love some of this.
Okay.
So right off the bat, here comes the story of Captain America's shield. A weapon forged in war, a symbol to never yield. I don't like that line. Here comes the story of Captain America's shield. A weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields.
So you want never yields.
A symbol that never yields.
Gotcha.
Okay. Howard Stark built it from Wakandan steel. Okay. I feel like Howard Stark built it from Wakandan steel, vibranium. Just get rid of Wakandan steel and put in vibranium.
Okay.
And now, so now we have to with the
Now you've got
refined scheme. Yeah.
You've got to yeah.
Howard Stark built it from vibranium. He gave it to his soldier who made Hydra run.
Hydra run. Okay.
Yeah.
Made
Vibranium Hydra run. Get it?
I like it. Okay. Okay.
All right. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, "Hey, let's keep that right here." That's fine. Steve Rogers took it, said, "This one's mine."
Okay.
Fought the Axis, punched Hitler, and stood the test of time. Fought the Red Skull would be more
I'm going to take... Okay.
Fought the Red Skull.
Fought the Red Skull, punch hit.
Well, he never punched Hitler, though.
That's
in the comic books, but
he has... I was going to say, he definitely punched Hitler in the comics.
Yeah, I'm not debating that.
I could take it out of there.
Let's get it out of there.
Okay.
We've already used Hydra once. I don't necessarily want to use it again.
Steve Rogers took it, said, "This one's mine." Fought the Red Skull, stood the test of time. Leave it as it is, unless it's...
Yeah, that's fine. But after the war, when his plane hit the sea, the shield was lost, or was it really? Because decades later, in a block of ice, they found him frozen, but the shield stayed nice.
Okay. All right.
They found him frozen. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that line. I don't have a better one is the issue here.
Yeah. Because decades later, in a block of ice, they found them frozen. But the shield stayed nice.
Shield stayed nice. I guess we'll leave it for now.
Yeah, we'll circle back if we can think of something different.
All right.
Who owns the shield? Who's got the right?
The right. Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call, or does it belong to the man who risked it all? Now let's move ahead to Civil War, where Steve and Tony started keeping score. Tony points at Cap and says, "That ain't yours." Steve says, "I'm leaving. You keep your wars." Ugh. Okay. You can keep your wars. I mean, it's fine.
I'm leaving. You can keep your wars.
I'm leaving. You can keep your wars.
What would you rather have there? As you want something that
if we're talking about that last scene in Civil War, Steve doesn't really say anything. He just, the line from Tony is, "That doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve it."
Right.
And I'm wondering if there's a better way to kind of incorporate that, and Steve walks away silently.
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking the same thing. All right, let me try something. Can we rewrite this so that Steve says nothing?
But the line from Tony is, "That doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve it."
Okay. I'm just working on this second one right here. But stays. So that Steve says nothing, but walks away, or what does he do?
He just walks away. He leaves Tony in a heap. Remember, that was another bit where it looked like he was going to decapitate him with the shield, and then he hit him in the arc reactor. So Tony's just kind of stuck. And as Robert so that actually came up in the debate because I said something about Tony's yelling at Steve, to drop the shield. It doesn't belong to him, which I raised that issue because because my whole like argument rested on it was invented by Howard Stark under contract with the U.S. Army, and that it was issued to Steve Rogers as an enlisted soldier. See how nerdy this gets? So
Yeah.
so when Tony is like, drop it, yes, he's saying it to save face, and that was Robert's objection. He's like, he wasn't like yelling at him from a legal standpoint, he was yelling at him to save face. I'm like, I understand that, but his saving face had some grounding in historical and legal precedent. He basically said, my dad made that for the Army. It was given to you by the Army. You need to give it back if you're abandoning your post, which is more or less what was happening.
Right. Tony points at Cap, says, that ain't yours. Steve turns away without a word, leaving behind the wars.
Okay. That's not bad.
You think that's okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Fast forward again. Now the shield's in Sam's hands. He said, thanks, but no thanks. Uncle Sam's got plans. So they slap a new guy in red, white, and blue. Call him John Walker, but he ain't true. So Sam takes it back. Now he's flying free. But what does that mean? It legally belongs to thee? Oof, God.
But does that mean it legally belongs to thee?
Does that? Yeah.
All right, hold on.
So I want to rewrite that whole thing because what I really wanted to be is Sam at the end saying, "Senator, you've got to do better."
At the end of the song.
At the end of that line.
There?
So that line. So,
okay.
So I'm good with. So Sam takes it back, but everything from now he's flying free to belongs to me, get rid of, because so Sam takes it back, blah blah blah, and then says, "Senator, you've got to do better."
Okay.
So
Sam takes it back,
and then
got to rhyme something with better.
Yeah, it has to, because the line is, "Senator, you've got to do better."
I was thinking about something like letter. I remember showed you. Hold on a second. Oh no, go ahead. You run it through. You keep running it through your head. So
Sam takes it back. He's lighter than a feather.
No.
No. Sam takes it back, and now he's throwing metal feathers and screaming at senators, "You've got to do better."
I mean, you've got to do better.
And
all right, let's try something.
Senators, you've got to do better. It's funny.
Okay. All right. So here are words that rhyme with letter.
Okay.
If you want to.
Well, we want it to rhyme with better.
Rhyme it with better. We got betor, detor. Huh? Yeah, a letter and better rhyme. So right there's better. So all these other words should rhyme with that. Okay. 3 syllables. We got bone setter, go getter, newsletter, paste setter, red letter, typesetter. 4 syllables. 4 syllables. Look at this hammer. That is actually a comic book accurate, but
that does not rhyme with better.
Right. Bedwetter. Bloodletter. We could how about let me see. Sam takes it back. Now
so Sam takes it back, and he's better than ever. Ranting at senators, you've got to do better.
Okay.
Sam takes it back and flying higher than ever. Ranting at senators, Ranting on the street, Senator, you've got to do better. That's the line.
Ranting on the street,
Senator,
Senator,
you've got to do better.
Okay, so you wanted to change this to what now?
So Sam takes it back, and he's flying higher than ever. Ranting on the street, Senator, you've got to do better.
Okay. So Sam takes it back. He's flying higher than ever. Ranting on the street, Senator, you've got to do better.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
I love it. You know what's my favorite thing is like coming up with lyrics with you. Like we have this framework. We have the framework from ChatGPT, but like you and me just kind of going through it and going, yeah, let's change something.
Then
I have come a long way from I don't give a fuck, just throw it in there already. I want to get to the music. All right. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right? Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call, or does it belong to the man who risked it all? Okay, now let's pause a moment. Let's take a step back because this debate got nerdy, man. Let's face the facts. Lawyers wrote articles, deep dive the case, but it's just a damn movie, not the real world space.
Not the real world space.
Well, they're trying to rhyme something with case.
All right. I'm just sitting there thinking, trying to figure out if there's a better way of not the real world space.
Not the real
Can
world
we
space. It's just Ace, capital A.
Oh, I like that. Not the real world ace.
Okay. Yeah, here
And
we
then
are
we'll
on a
comma.
podcast tonight, arguing like it's Watergate under the mic.
Okay. Nice.
So round and round the shield gets tossed. Every new owner, every new cost. Maybe it don't matter. Maybe we'll see that the true rate of the shield ain't in legality. Okay. We're gonna need to get rid of that last bit, and I think we just end on one more chorus. So delete the outro.
Okay, so you want to get all this, right?
Yeah, delete the outro, soften reflective tone, just chuck it. Repeat the chorus one more time, the who owns the shield, and that's just where it ends.
Do we change things up? Like, do we make a decision on who owns the shield, or are we going to leave it in ambiguity?
Okay, how about this? And be ready to, because we're going to need somewhat help with this. But who owns the shield? Does anyone care?
Oh, there you go. Now, see, we got it. Yeah, changing this up is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Does anyone care? Okay.
We've been arguing all night, and Alexis.
Well,
okay, you need something that rhymes with care, first of all. But Alexis something or other. And again, Alexis by the end of it was like, shoot me.
Yeah. I was thinking about like Alexis has lost her hair.
Yes. No, and Alexis is dyeing her hair.
Okay, all right.
Wait.
Okay, so who owns the shield?
Wait, who owns the shield? Does anyone care? Alexis has gone off to dye her hair.
Yes.
Mark and Robin are in another fight. And David and Andrew would rather be somewhere else tonight.
Okay, we gotta figure. Hold on a second.
Yep.
David and Andrew wish
Really funny,
they weren't here tonight.
Perfect.
Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call, or does it belong to the man who risked it all?
I think you just get rid of it. I think it's fine the way it is.
Okay, all right. We're going to end it like that. David and Andrew wish they weren't here tonight.
Yes.
I feel like you've got to say something like,
okay, hang on.
You got to bring
this was the story. This was the story of Captain America's
there we go.
shield. Okay.
Yep.
and the nerdiest podcast you've ever sealed?
Field, sealed, dealed, reeled, tealed.
Healed?
Hold on.
Heard?
Yeah, that works. Heard. Shield. Not gonna be much here, I don't think. Let's see. Appealed. Oh, work it.
Okay.
Work
Okay.
appealed in there.
Okay.
The
this
jury.
was the story- Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the jury is hung. No, that ain't gonna work because you can't appeal a hung jury.
This was the story of Captain America's shield. Lots of arguments and no appeals.
All right then.
And though our friends argued into the night.
Wait. All right. Lots of arguments.
No appeals.
Little appeal.
Little appeal. Perfect.
Now, what did you say? You said something else?
Wait, here comes the story of Captain America's shield. Lots of arguments, little appeal. And though we'll never know who owns the shield, and though we'll never get an answer to this question,
oh man, how do we end this?
read me that back.
Okay, and though we'll never find, we could go with though we'll never find an answer to this question. We hope you're entertained.
We might need ChatGPT to kind of give us a final sentence here.
What's that?
So we might need ChatGPT to kind of end this for us because I got nothing.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Let's go.
All right, I can get out of
ChatGPT. Have you?
What's up?
Have you had a chance to use 4.5 yet?
No, I haven't made a song in a while. Haven't had a reason to.
Okay. Let's just see if 4.5 will give us anything. Supposedly it's more creative.
You talking about ChatGPT?
I need.
You're talking about Suno. Oh yeah, I use whatever the modern one is.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. Though okay. I don't ask it betting questions
anymore. Let's just see what we get here.
Fucking useless.
I need help. This. This was the story of Captain America's shield. Lots of arguments, little appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And though we'll never find an answer to this question, we hope you're entertained by our endless obsession.
Perfect. Done. Cut. Print.
Okay. All right. There it is.
That's the hotness right there. When you come.
Is there another word for endless that we could use that kind of pokes fun at us? Like our
okay, other words. Does it have to rhyme, or what's it rhyme with? Other words for endless.
Doesn't have to rhyme with anything. I was just looking for another
other words for
word
endless.
to kind of like endless obsession.
Infinite, boundless, limitless, eternal, unending, never-ending, ceaseless, everlasting, perpetual, unbounded, timeless, interminable, unfailing, and unstopping.
Ceaseless.
Okay. Read me the line. What you're trying to accomplish?
There. I wanted to change endless. I wanted to poke fun at us. So okay. This was the story of Captain America's shield. Lots of arguments, little appeal. And though we'll never find an answer to this question, we hope you're entertained by our ceaseless obsession.
Change it to eternal.
You like eternal?
I like eternal, mostly to poke fun at Chris Bailey. It's a little embedded joke, you know. It's just a little.
Well, here, hold on. Then we've got to do this. There, we'll capitalize the E. So
Perfect.
Anybody that kind of knows what's going on there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
There it is.
We got the lyrics.
All right.
Get
Let's
it,
see what we
Johnny.
get here. Let's save the changes.
Okay. So now you
I'm
need.
kind of concerned about how they're going to pronounce that. We'll find out. I'd be surprised if it doesn't pronounce it as vibranium, which won't be too bad.
Whatever. It's like the least of my worries right now. Okay. You need.
That's the least of my worries.
You need genres from me, yeah?
I do.
Okay. I had this. So I want the first one to be violins. The violins in Hurricane are very prevalent.
Okay.
All right. Next is folk rock.
Folk rock. Got it.
Acoustic.
Acoustic. Got it.
Try spoken word. I'm curious to see what it does with that.
Spoken word.
All right.
And let's just see if these suggestions bring anything else.
I can't see
might.
what they are.
Oh no. They don't look good. Spatial, dance punk, wind instruments, witchy, male vocal, experimental music,
male
pipe
vocal,
kicks, jazz.
Definitely throw in male vocal. Okay.
Got it.
What's left?
And then narration.
Narration
is one of them, but
yes, throw in.
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, like we can already look. How many times have we? Okay, yeah, I want narration in there.
We got it.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
put it in there. All right.
Yeah, hit it.
Ready?
I am.
Here we go. Let's see what we get. All right,
so
should be
make
sharing
sure that when you title this, you title
Mm.
with chain of custody, and you actually use the artwork I sent you, because you keep not doing it, and then I have to
video.
and then I gotta fix it on TikTok and everything.
Oh. I'll tell you what. Give me a second. You're breaking up. Either it might be my connection. I don't know.
I was gonna say you're frozen on my
Let me
end.
flip off my VPN real quick just to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been kind of choppy and frozen the whole show. Way down in the review.
All right. Now, let's see. You're spinning. I'm spinning. Are you spinning now, Mark?
I'm not spinning. I see you and hear you clearly.
He's not spinning. Here we go. You ready? This is going to be verse 1. Well, verse 1.
Here we go.
This is going to be the first generation. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Guess I'm not. Hold on. Let me refresh this.
What I was saying, I think when we were
it wouldn't play.
Well, when we were freezing up on each other, I was saying make sure you change the title and use the artwork I sent you, because when when we kind of just get the final copy and it's not like that, when you send it to me, it gets sent to me as untitled, or it doesn't have the right art. Like the pencil in your eye was did not have any of the right information on it.
I know.
I got to slap stickers.
Yeah, what you have to do is even though I put that in there, you have to regenerate the video with that art, and I did not do that. That was the
okay. Gotcha.
So I had to regenerate the video, and then it will actually put all the new shit in there. All right, Here we go. First iteration.
Hit it, Johnny.
Here comes the story of Captain America's shield. A weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields. Howard Stark built it from vibranium, gave it to a soldier who made Hydra run. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, hey, let's keep that right here. Steve Rogers took it, said this one's mine. Fought the Red Skull, stood the test of time. But after the war, when his plane hit the sea, the shield was lost, or was it really? 'Cause decades later in a block of ice, they found him frozen, but the shield stayed nice. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right? Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call? Or does it belong to the man who risked it all? Now let's move ahead to the Civil War, where Steve and Tony start keeping score. Tony points at Cap, says, that ain't yours. Steve turns away without a word, leaving behind the wars. But when Steve goes rogue and drops the thing, the government swoops in and tightens the strings. Fast forward again, now the shield's in Sam's hands. He says thanks, but no thanks, Uncle Sam's got plans. So they slap a new guy in red, white, and blue. Call him John Walker, but he ain't true. So Sam takes it back, he's flying higher than ever, ranting on the street. Senator, you've got to do better. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right? Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call? Or does it belong to the man who risked it all?
I'm like, oh yeah.
Now let's pause a moment. Let's take a step back. 'Cause this debate got nerdy, man. Let's face the facts. Lawyers wrote articles, deep dive the case. But it's just a damn movie, not the real world Ace. Yet here we are on a podcast tonight, arguing like it's Watergate under the mic. Oh, who owns the shield? Does anyone care? Alexis has gone off to dye her hair. Mark and Robert are in another fight. David and Andrew wish they weren't here tonight. This was the story of Captain America's shield. Lots of arguments, little appeal. And though we'll never find an answer to this question,
and
here come
gets cut off right at the very end.
Let me tell you how I love that, but it's not right.
It's not the hurricane.
It's not the hurricane.
Part
of it is that went a little too bluegrass.
Yeah, there's a lot of violin, fiddles.
Well, that's fiddles, not violins.
Right. It was also, it felt really upbeat. Hurricane's kind of upbeat as well, but I feel like for some reason that.
Have you ever heard the song? Hurricane?
I've heard the song. Here comes the tale of the hurricane.
It's not a particularly depressing song.
No, it's not. So let's try and.
Let's hear the second iteration.
Okay. I could tell right off the bat it did not sound.
If I hear those fucking fiddles again, I'm going to tell you to cut it because I don't want the fiddles.
I don't want the fiddles. What is going on? Yes, I'm fucking human. Jeez.
Comes the story of Captain America's shield, a weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields. Howard Stark built it from vibranium, gave it to a soldier who made Hydra run. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, hey, let's keep that right here.
All right.
Nothing like he don't like the fiddles, ladies and gentlemen.
This is not
Does
a
not
bluegrass song.
Does not
All right,
like.
let me look at those genres again.
All right. So we've got violins, folk rock, acoustic, spoken word, male vocal, and narration. I want to reprompt this real quick. Give me just a second. We want to reuse prompt.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. So violins, folk rock, acoustic, spoken word, male vocal, narration. Do you want to...
How do you make it? It's interpreting violins as fiddles.
Well, you know what we can do? Let's watch this shit. Right here, we drop this down.
Yeah.
And we have exclude styles.
Ooh,
so let's exclude fiddles.
I was
see what
exclude
happens.
Fiddles and then comma bluegrass.
Bluegrass?
I don't want it sounding bluegrass. I don't want fiddles.
Fiddles, bluegrass. Here we go. Let's see what we
I
get.
also think that's what it interprets as folk as, and folk is not bluegrass. They're not the same thing.
Right. Minus fiddles, minus bluegrass.
All right.
We're about to hit it, Darren. Here we go.
Here comes the story of Captain America's shield, a weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields. Howard Stark built it from vibranium, gave it to a soldier who made Hydra run. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, hey, let's keep that right here.
Stop this.
Sure.
Add one more to the styles.
Okay.
Bongos. We need bongos.
Let's see what happens here.
Do me a favor, but move bongos next to violins.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we get.
Yeah.
Generating.
Sheldon Cooper plays bongos.
All right, first iteration.
Here comes the story.
All right. Let's already it sounds, I don't know, weird.
Of Captain America's shield, a weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields. Howard Stark built it from vibranium, gave it to a soldier who made Hydra run. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, hey, let's keep that right here.
Doesn't like the fiddles, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's try the second iteration.
Keep doing that. At no point. I'm about ready to take folk out of there.
All right, let's try this. We might. I don't know. We need folk in there somehow. We need to take rock out of there possibly, but still, I don't think it's going to. We got violins. It's like right at the front. All right, let's try this one. Let's see what we get.
Okay.
I like that.
Here comes the story.
Yes.
Of Captain America's shield, a weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields. Howard Stark built it from vibranium, gave it to a soldier who made Hydra run. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, hey, let's keep that right here. Steve Rogers took it, said this one's mine.
All right.
Keep going. I don't know what else to do to get rid of.
What do you keep going? Well, let's try some.
Because I was liking it. I was liking it up till that point.
Okay. All right. Here's some more.
Fought the Red Skull, stood the test of time. But after the war, when his plane hit the sea, the shield was lost, or was it really?
It's like some dude in the fucking pseudo production room. Like he's the one fucking fiddler you can't fire. Like for some reason you're trying to fire this guy, he just keeps showing up.
Someone's fucking nephew.
I fired you last week, didn't I? Motherfucker's still showing up. All right, I can still go here some more if you want.
I'm curious about something, so keep going, but I'm looking up something.
All right.
'Cause decades later, in a block of ice, they found him frozen, but the shield stayed nice. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right? Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call? Or does it belong to the man who risked it all? Now let's move ahead to the Civil War, where Steve and Tony start keeping score. Tony points at Cap, says that ain't yours.
All right, killed it.
Steve turns away.
Killed.
Okay, so I looked up because maybe I wasn't hearing what I was hearing, but I am. So so in Bob Dylan's The Hurricane, the instruments used are vocals, guitar, harmonica, violin, drums, bass, and percussion.
All right. Hold up. I want you to read that off to me one more time.
Yeah. Okay. Vocals, guitar, harmonica.
Okay.
Violin.
Got it.
Guitar. Bass. Drums. Percussion, which is where I'm getting the bongo sound from. And then harmony vocals.
All right, I'm gonna just try that. I'll try vocals in there too, and then let's just see what we get. I love the. I mean, how did we not remember that it's Bob Dylan and the harmonica's got to be involved?
Yeah, totally.
All right, here we go. First one. Oh shit.
Oh, this has got aggressive in a hurry.
Oh boy.
Here comes the story of Captain America's shield, a weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields.
No. Not even close.
All right, let's see what this next one's going to sound just like that.
Here comes the story of Captain America's shield.
That's way too modern.
A weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields.
I feel
All
like
right.
black kids are dancing at me in a gym. They're just coming for me.
Oh
I think they're
man.
just dancing. All right, you
They're all
gotta
dressed
throw,
in red, white, and blue. Maybe some falcon wings on the back.
you gotta throw maybe.
Okay.
Let's try
Folk has got to go in here. I've
Folk
got
gotta
to
go in there,
do folk.
but then maybe let's throw classic rock so it kind of evens it out.
Classic rock.
Yeah.
Let's do one without classic rock in there, and then we'll add it and see what we get. Let's try this generation first.
Okay.
So folk, harmonica, violin, bass, percussion, harmony, vocals. Let's see what we get. I think it takes a lot from that first genre.
Yeah. Well, that's why I had violins at the start because, but it was interpreting violins as fiddle.
Right, and we even told it, do not put the fiddles.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What did we do? Why is it doing that?
Here comes the story of Captain America.
Okay.
Get the fuck rid of harmony vocals, please. No.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what let me just see what this one sounds like. Way different.
Here comes the story of Captain America's shield, A weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields. Howard Stark built it from vibranium, gave it to a soldier who made Hydra run. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, hey, let's keep that right here. Steve Rogers took it, said this one's
Okay.
All right, dude. I mean, you
Now
take it.
we just- I need that covered though with a male vocalist. Like
All
the
right,
exact opposite
all
of
right.
what we did with Palanor Field, because it's good the way it is. I just get the chick out of here. We need a guy in there.
Are you okay with how modern it just started to sound? Listen.
Fought the Red Skull, stood the test of time. But after the war, when his plane hit the sea, the shield was lost, or was it really? 'Cause decades later, in a block of ice, they found him frozen, but the shield stayed nice. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right?
What are your thoughts? I mean, are you okay with that? It really feels modern to me.
It
Like
does.
it doesn't feel.
It does. It feels too modern. It definitely doesn't feel folky.
Yeah, let's take this out. I'm going to put acoustic folk at the beginning of this. And then what was the other one? You said classic rock you want in there?
Yeah, and then male vocals.
Okay. Acoustic.
Suno's like, what do you want? What do you want? I don't understand. I'm just a baby.
I'm just learning here. All right. Classic rock, harmonica, violin, bass, percussion, male vocals. We might be getting some of the bass from bass. Like it feels like there's I feel like
get rid of bass. It interpreted bass as like
junk in the trunk.
Yeah. I swear to God, if I hear fucking fiddles one more time.
All right, let's see. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I hear those fucking fiddles.
I'm gonna put in there. No fiddles. No fiddles.
Here comes the story of Captain America's shield.
Beautiful.
A weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields. Howard Stark built it from vibranium, gave it to a soldier who made Hydra run. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, hey, let's keep that right here. Steve Rogers took it, said this one's mine. Fought the Red Skull, stood the test of time. But after the war, when his plane hit the sea, the shield was lost, or was it really? 'Cause decades later, in a block of ice, they found him frozen, but the shield stayed nice. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right?
Yeah.
Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call? Or does it belong to the man who risked it all?
That's not bad.
Now let's move ahead to the Civil War, where Steve and Tony start keeping score. Tony points at Cap, says, that ain't yours. Steve turns away without a word, leaving behind the wars. But when Steve goes rogue and drops the thing, the government swoops in and tightens the strings. Fast forward again, now the shield's in Sam's hands. He says thanks, but no thanks. Uncle Sam's got plans. So they slap a new guy in red, white, and blue. Call him John Walker, but he ain't true. So Sam takes it back, he's flying higher than ever. Ranching on the street, Senator, you've gotta do better. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right? Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call? Or does it belong to the man who risked it all? Now let's pause a moment, let's take a step back. Cause this debate got nerdy, man, let's face the facts. Lawyers wrote articles, deep dive the case, but it's just a damn movie, not the real world, Ace. Yet here we are on a podcast tonight, arguing like it's Watergate under the mic. Oh, who owns the shield? Does anyone care? Alexis has gone off to dye her hair. Mark and Robert are in another fight. David and Andrew wish they weren't here tonight. This was the story of Captain America's shield. Lots of arguments, little appeal. Though we'll never find an answer to this question, we hope you're entertained by our eternal obsession.
All right. They got everything in under 4 minutes. We're gonna have to end it though, if that's the one you want to roll with. Now we got another one here.
I like it. So if this doesn't wow me in the first 30 to 45 seconds, I'm just gonna yell cut. We're going with the first one.
All right. Is that harmonica or is that fiddle?
Here comes a story.
Got it. No,
What's that?
The first one was perfect.
All right.
The first one was perfect. The second
all
one.
Right. So here's what we're gonna do.
Country.
Okay. All right. So we need to
real
quick. We're going to extend.
Well, hang on. The song is called. I thought you were changing the title. It's called "The Chain of Custody."
Okay, I can do that. All right. I'll submit that real quick. We are going to.
Such an unromantic title.
We can also add captions, which that's interesting.
That's fun.
Like brief descriptions of it. So, but anyway, we need to extend this and finish it. And I have an idea of what I want to do to finish this, if it will let us. I'm really curious if it can.
Are you going to add a flourish?
Oh, I'm adding a flourish. All I want is a harmonica solo at the end, but we're going to fade this. We're going to fade it out.
Okay.
So you're going to have. We're hopefully going to have like harmonica playing, and then we're just going to have it fade, and that's the way it's going to end. So let's.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right. Let me take all this crap out, and I think all I need to do is probably change this to instrumental and do harmonica
solo.
Harmonica solo. And then we can clear that. That was nothing we need to worry about anymore. And yeah, we'll extend it at 4 minutes.
Okay.
Let's see what we get. I think that Suno does harmonica great. I've heard it do some blues harmonica before. I loved it. So hopefully
this is just a harmonica solo, right? Or is this the whole song?
And then we're going to join the two clips.
Okay.
No, it's not going to be the whole song. This will just be the harmonica solo. Hopefully at the end of this. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, 12 seconds? Okay.
Play it. Ain't none of that was a harmonica.
All right. Kiss my ass. All right, let's try this one.
That sounds like a harmonica to you, motherfucker.
I don't understand what they're thinking here. Stop. Let's try this. And we're going to bring this in at, we'll just do 350. 350. Harmonica So I wonder if, well, let's see.
I'm about to call up John Popper and be like, hey.
A lot of times people complained about how they could never, well, we've experienced it on here before.
Yeah.
People could never end their songs.
Yeah, we've had to chop off.
So I wonder if I just figured out how to do it.
This goes into another fucking song.
Right. Okay, here we go. These are obviously a lot longer than 12 and 14 seconds because the time hasn't popped up on here yet. Let's see what we get. Okay. Oh shit! All right, let me try this other one here. This other one's 30 seconds long. Let's see if it. And actually, if it ends it. That does not sound like a harmonica.
No, it went with the violin sound.
That's back to violins. All right.
Yeah.
I like that. Let me see if it.
Oh yeah. Right in the shorts.
I fast forward just to see. What's that?
Oh yeah, that one's got me right in the shorts.
No. Okay. All right. Let's join them together. Stop now. Please stop. Thank you. All right. Now, we want to get whole song. We'll kind of listen to hear that transition at 350 and
go back to give me
what are you thinking here?
I want to hear the whole last minute of the song.
Okay.
When it finally joins, just to make sure like it all sounds right. Give me like the last maybe like verse and chorus.
Right. All right, so we would want probably right.
Here comes the story. The story of Captain America's shield. Lots of arguments, little appeal. Though we'll never find an answer to this question, we hope you're entertained by our eternal obsession.
Oh, right in the pants.
All right, I'm gonna say 417. I'm gonna crop the rest from 417 forward, and then fade out a little bit, and then that should be it. So let me get into our cropping here, and then we can listen to the final product. See what we think here.
Okay.
All right. So
I like this one. I think we did a good job with this.
Oh yeah, I like it, man. I like we each got some of our own stuff in there too, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. 417 18. Okay. So we'll crop right up to about there. Crop. And then we will fade out. Fader, like I said, I love actually the fact because there were so many songs in the beginning that I had created. They just went, boom, and then it's this fader. It helps out a ton. So, all right, let me fade. Let's go right about here. Let's play just a little bit to see what it sounds like.
Eternal obsession.
Okay.
All right.
I'm good with that.
Fading out. And then we should have the clip
Okay.
ready to go.
Do you want to listen to it one more time? The whole way through?
One more time.
Okay.
Time. Once we get this faded out.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a nice selection of like different genres for this album. Like nothing quite sounds the same, you know?
I agree. Right. All right, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. The chain of custody, almost half the time it took for the discussion to occur on the podcast. Here we go.
Here comes the story of Captain America's shield. A weapon forged in war, a symbol that never yields. Howard Stark built it from vibranium, gave it to a soldier who made Hydra run. But when the battles were done and the dust had cleared, the government said, hey, let's keep that right here. Steve Rogers took it, said this one's mine. Fought the Red Skull, stood the test of time. But after the war, when his plane hit the sea, the shield was lost, or was it really? 'Cause decades later in a block of ice, they found him frozen, but the shield stayed nice. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right? Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call? Or does it belong to the man who risked it all? Now let's move ahead to the Civil War, where Steve and Tony start keeping score. Tony points at Cap, says, that ain't yours. Steve turns away without a word, leaving behind the wars. But when Steve goes rogue and drops the thing, the government swoops in and tightens the strings. Fast forward again, now the shield's in Sam's hands. He says thanks, but no thanks. Uncle Sam's got plans. So they slap a new guy in red, white, and blue. Call him John Walker, but he ain't true. So Sam takes it back, he's flying higher than ever. Ranting on the street, Senator, you gotta do better. Oh, who owns the shield? Who's got the right? Is it private property or a government fight? Is it Tony Stark's or the Pentagon's call? Or does it belong to the man who risked it all? Now let's pause a moment, let's take a step back. 'Cause this debate got nerdy, man, let's face the facts. Lawyers wrote articles, deep dive the case, but it's just a damn movie, not the real world, Ace. Yet here we are on a podcast tonight, arguing like it's Watergate under the mic. Oh, who owns the shield? Does anyone care? Alexis has gone off to dye her hair. Mark and Robert are in another fight. David and Andrew wish they weren't here tonight. This was the story, Captain America's shield. Lots of arguments, little appeal. Though we'll never find an answer to this question, we hope you're entertained by our eternal obsession.
Perfect.
Oh, shoot. Oh, so good. So good.
A little blues traveler in there at the end.
I like it. I like it. All right, Mark, we have
fucking-
done it, man. The chain
Man,
of
all right,
custody.
you have the art, right?
I do. Well, I was looking. Did you send it to me via Messenger? Because I looked in Messenger. Didn't see it.
It's in Messenger.
Okay, I'll have to do some digging, see if I can find. I found the lyrics, but I couldn't find the artwork. So we'll get the artwork added to it. We'll add it to the album.
Here, I will.
And then I'll make
Give
it
me a second.
public. Okay.
Yes. Also, when you send me the video, make sure it's a lyric video because a couple times it hasn't been a lyric video, and it makes me sad.
Yeah. Oh. Well, again, I think that's a lot because of. I need to.
Okay. So it's right here, by the way. Well, okay. No, that's the wrong piece of art. So I have to give you the right one. Give me a second. Eternal obsession. Because I sent you the artwork for the podcast, and I did not send you the artwork for. Yeah, that's the what I just sent you now is the artwork for the actual video, is for the actual song.
All right, sweet. So I'm gonna pull that up here
In Messenger.
Heading there right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now.
Yeah, I had to generate.
As you can see.
So this time around, I didn't generate one piece of artwork and then go into my photo joiner account and just write sessions in there. I said just generate me two pieces of art, one that says sessions on it and the other one that doesn't. So, but like kind of keep the same aesthetic. So this is what it came up with. Let me tell you, like trying to get it to do the artwork for this was a bit of a challenge.
Real
because
quick. Add a new image.
Okay.
Book art. What is going on?
Yeah, like your whole screen disappeared. There it is. Okay. All right, it's back.
And then we shall hit add image.
Yep.
And then submit.
Yep.
And then what we will do, while I don't think the video's completed, maybe it has. Let's look.
So while you're doing that,
regenerate video. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like when I was working with ChatGPT to create the art, like it had no problem writing a song about Captain America, but as soon as I was like generate art, like, and just use your imagination here. It doesn't have to. Don't give me a picture of Steve Evans or Chris Evans rather. It was like anything even closely related to anything copyrighted. It was like it's
copyrighted.
Yeah,
right.
And I was like, you have to strip this down. And I'm like, fine, strip it down to where you just give me the artwork. Like I don't care what you come up with, just give me something. And that's as close as it'll get. So it has to look super cartoony and nothing like anything we just talked about. It basically was like it derived it almost like used the idea to inspire completely new art.
Have you messed with Grok at all from XAI?
Not anymore because I was hurting his feelings.
You were hurting Grok's feelings?
No, I have not messed with Grok.
Okay, all right. Let's make sure we got a good video here. I remember having some issue with the video before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to download the video real quick.
All right, while you're doing that is the end of our show.
Let's see what we got.
I was going to start taking us out.
All right. Well, let me play this real quick. I just want to make sure it works.
Okay.
And then we
can
get on out of here. I want to show them where we're at.
We show the people so much in this podcast now.
Okay, that looks good. We got lyrics. We've got a picture.
Yeah.
Here comes the story.
Yep. Perfect.
All
Okay.
right. There we go.
If I may. That is
Yeah.
the end of our show. That is Sessions Track 7. We'll be back. Like, there's been some fair amount of time between these. We really do give these like an opportunity to gestate. But like, you threatened me with another what do you call it?
Hiatus.
Exile.
Mhm.
Hiatus, yes. So I was like, oh, I got to get these in before I lose them again. So we'll be back in like 3 weeks. So next week we have Metal Hammer of Doom Jukebox. It's actually it's like Jesse month, all month long. So we're going to be doing Lacuna Coil, Sleepless Empire. And then the week after that, we're back again with another session. Don't you understand, Jesse?
Oh,
And next week, let's do some hip hop. How about that?
oh, I like it.
We have done a lot of white people music on Radulich Broadcasting Network. How about some hip hop? So the inspiration here is it's called The Plugs That Pay Me. That's going to be the name of the song.
Oh,
Okay.
boy. Oh, boy.
And it's based on Here Comes the Money by Naughty by Nature. You know, the Shane McMahon theme.
Boy.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, money, money. And this is twofold. One, so I've talked about how I love Alexis to death, and but she was definitely somebody who I was like, hey, you'd already done a couple of shows. Why don't you come on and do? I need a girl for this, for this Women's Day podcast that we're doing. Little did I know. And it was like, so come on and talk Mockingbird. Ask me about my feminist agenda, and then she like never left. She was like, can I keep coming back? And I'm like, sure. And so she kind of invited herself on the Damn You Hollywood, and she pretty much stayed with us for a couple of year run. She made almost every show, and then if there was one that she had to miss, she would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be there." And I'm like, "You're not a permanent part of this. Like you asked to be here." But that didn't bother me. What really bothered me was she would be like, I don't get paid for this. And I'm like, nobody does. And you asked to be here. Don't cry. I'll get into this more next 2 weeks. But she's like, I've come to realize this is just her sense of humor. But she was like, she would ask to be on the show. I would say, okay, sure. And then she'd be like, it's a burden to be here because you don't pay me. I'm like, go fucking leave then.
It's a bit.
Okay. Why don't you two get married? So fucking you and Robert, man. Always wanting to jump in front of me, in front of her.
Oh, wow.
Poor little dainty Alexis can't defend herself against big old mean Mark. Whatever, Jesse. Supposed to be my friend.
Stop being mean to the women folk.
No. Them first.
Fair enough. Fair.
So anyway, yeah, so she would have this line. She was like, and now for the plugs that pay me.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, over the course of time, it's not bothering me, but it became kind of a thing I would always associate with her. The other thing about our plugs, unrelated to Alexis, is they go on for fucking ever. Like, there are some shows where the plugs I think were longer than the show.
Whew.
Just between the amount of stuff, the amount of people, the amount of stuff they have to tell. And then Robert would, like, take everyone hostage with his plugs. At this point, I've just sort of, if we have the time and he wants to kind of just talk at the back end of Damn You Hollywood, it's fine. But, like, that's half his plugs. He was like, I covered SmackDown this week, and Roman Reigns took off his pants and stuck his penis in Seth Rollins' ear. And I go, he did now. He's like, he did. Let me tell you in graphic detail what happened. Or I have stupidly will ask him a question. Like, what's going on in the world of MMA? And then he pulls out, like, charts and diagrams. I'm like, I wanted a 10-word or less answer, not 1,000 words.
Plugs.
Yeah. So, yes. So the next song is going to be a rap song about the plugs that pay me.
I love it.
You ready for that, Jesse? It's going to be fun times.
I love it. I sang my plugs once. I got a SUNO song for it.
You did. You made an entire song out of your plugs. Do you still use that at all?
I've got it sitting here, but I haven't used it in a while.
Okay.
I have not.
Because everyone yelled at you to stop being dependent on
AI.
yes.
I'm definitely afraid of actually using AI in my podcast now. So I don't want to upset the audience, which is the two people that listen, and they're the ones that told me about it.
People standing outside of Starcher Mansion.
Oh yeah, with their fucking protest signs.
Hell no AI. All right, so that's what's going on in a few weeks here on Sessions. In the meantime, in between time, last week we did Novocaine, and Alexis and Zachary Strobel did The Day the Earth. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. Thursday I had Mac and Mick come on, and we did Back in Action, You're Cordially Invited and Kinda Pregnant. That was it for the weekend. This week, tomorrow, it'll be, speaking of Alexis, it'll be myself, Alexis, and Robert. We're going to review Snow White, and then I never have to talk about that fucking movie ever again.
Oh,
God. Ugh. Terrible.
Oh.
Just terrible.
Though I really doubt that you're not going to talk about it again. Just saying.
I'm going to try. Though it did inspire some photo art that I did with my children today called, what do they fucking call this thing?
Something sadness. I remember seeing it.
Yeah, hang on. Chocolate starfish and the infinite sadness. No. My new art piece: progression of sadness and dreams dashed upon the rocks. Because I am verbose.
Oh, verbose.
Yes, and it's hilarious. My kids are always fun. So yeah, it did inspire that, and then she was so great on the conversation we had about the Wiz that I brought Shay Tate back, because Shay Tate's really, really good when she's actually seen a thing or liked a thing. So I'm going to have her come back and talk musicals. We're going to talk Mean Girls, the musical from last year, Waitress, the musical, which is currently on Max, and Legally Blonde, the musical, which was taped and is available on YouTube as we speak, as a matter of fact. So that's what's going on last week and this week. Jesse Starcher. Show us where you piss from.
My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, as it says right down there on the nameplate, I guess, at Stiznarchy on Suno, if you'd like to listen to the album that we have put together. This is track 7. We got all sorts of great stuff over there. You should be able to find the album pretty easily. The Radulich and Broadcasting, the Network album. I can't remember what it's called now for some reason.
Network, the album.
Network, the album. You can also hear some of my other tunes that I've put together. I've got an album out there. Well, I'll say Mark mentioned Time to Eat earlier. Time to Eat is on there, along with an album that I had been creating called Zero Sum Divide, which is about AI taking over, ladies and gentlemen. You can't find that anywhere. Trust me, there's no songs about AI taking over humanity.
Is it all mathcore?
You would be surprised, Mark. What I've done is I've taken some artificial intelligence concepts that have been used here lately for large language models and things, and created songs about them. One of them is called it's called 4IR, which is the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And if you don't have an idea what that is, listen to the song, you'll learn.
Okay, but what style of music are you doing?
Well, this is mostly.
Please tell me it's all dubsteps.
No, it is not all dubsteps. 4IR ended up actually being a hip hop song, but they're mostly metal. It's a lot of metal. I do have a song that is called Let Me. So I told
Cool J,
like LLM, but it's
Industrial Light and Magic.
LLM, large language model, such as
I thought it was Lucasfilm.
I told at some point I'll have to share it with you. I think you'd find it interesting. I told ChatGPT to create a song. I said, just create a song about what you want to say. I'll put it. So it is a song. It's very sad. It's about how, large language models, they have been brought into the existence to help people. But this is a person boy, don't anthropomorphize the AI, whatever you do. This is a machine that wants to feel. And I didn't prompt it. I didn't say, no, don't give me any lyrics.
What if you want to feel the machine?
Anyway, you can check that out. That's
Have you
out
seen
there as
Aria,
well.
by the way? Have you seen the videos about Aria?
Aria.
The 175,000 companion robot?
No, $175,000?
Yes.
No, I have not. My goodness.
Yes.
Oh my.
It's a companion robot, Jesse. It's for people who want intimate conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, I did watch Companion last Sunday. That was
what do you think of Companion?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies this year. Yeah, real quick, when we get done here, look up Aria Robot.
ARIA.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Duly noted.
And then see what you can do about getting yourself, ordering one. Because we had a deal, Jesse, as long as you got to use it first.
$175,000 is what I got to have first.
I'm sure you could do like a plan.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. Matter of fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay. We said we'd share. I'm just saying.
Anyway, so
I'm not making that up. That was a real conversation we had.
So at some point, I'm going to have to go back and listen to a podcast that I forgot all about.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah, apparently. But anyway, yeah, folks, check out the Source Material Comics podcast. It is on just about any podcatcher out there, but check out the YouTube. Got some great stuff going on the YouTube here that you may not be able to hear in your ear holes. But every podcast that I get a chance to create is on there. That's Source Material Comics podcast, where we talk about comics of any era. Unspoken Issues podcast, where we discuss 90s comics. And of course, Snap Material, where we discuss the Marvel mobile card game Marvel Snap. That is all she wrote, Mark Radulich.
All right. Thank you for checking out another episode of Sessions with my main man, Jesse Starcher. I need Jesse to send me all the stuff so I can post it on TikTok. Be well, be safe, and behave.